Welcome to the Art of Leverage. I'm Tiffanie Kellog, your hostess, and I'm so excited to be joined today by Sam Rosati. Sam, welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks, Tiffany. Great to talk to you today.
So I could call you a serial entrepreneur. It seems like you've got a lot of things going on. So tell us about the businesses in your world.
Sure. Well, it seems like a lot going on. It's still pretty simple. I mean, my day-to-day is still to search for small companies to acquire, to go through deal processes and acquire them, and then ultimately just to run them smoothly, efficiently, and grow. So that's it.
So tell us a little bit about that. What is that all about?
Well, I mean, it goes back to, I used to be in professional services. I was a lawyer in downtown Tampa. And it was then when I realized I was an entrepreneur. I didn't really know what that meant and how to pursue entrepreneurship. So kind of like everybody thinks they want to do, they think they want to start a company. And I thought about that and I tried that and I said, God, this isn't for me. I'm not that smart. So I stumbled upon ETA, entrepreneurship through acquisition, and a really, really long story short, went out to buy a company and bought two. One was a roll-off dumpster business. The second one was a manufacturer of patio screen doors. They were both in Tampa. And that was a couple dozen companies ago. We've been acquiring and investing in small companies ever since.
So how many companies do you have under your umbrella?
Well, the total count is getting close to 24, but most of those are passive. I am just an investor and I don't offer a whole lot else other than that initial check. But the ones that I'm really active in are about 5 of them. And I spend a lot of time trying to help improve and grow those companies.
Now, is it you and a team? Is it just you? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I've got partners in every business. So believe it or not, I'm not responsible for running any of the companies day to day. I wish that meant I don't have a lot to do. Unfortunately, things go wrong and, alarms have to go off and I have to deal with them. Nevertheless, again, I have partners in every business that are running the day to day and I support them with whatever they need, whether it's accounting, finance, marketing, sales, recruiting, you name it, special projects. But yeah, that's the gig today.
So which company have you acquired most recently?
So most recently, we acquired an add-on acquisition to a fence company that we own.
Okay.
It's the initial company is in Tampa. We do installations of commercial fences around Florida and the southeastern US. And that business has gone really well. So we acquired another business in Orlando that does pretty much the same thing. And that was at the end of last year. And we plan on doing at least a few more of those this year if we can find them and get them through the process.
You kind of figured out the secret sauce, at least for that. And you're like, let's keep doing it if it's working.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be an insider to an industry and be able to be a good buyer and a good home for a small business where the owner wants to retire. So that's worked so far. We're going to keep doing it.
Gotcha. What have been any challenges that you faced as you started, acquiring more and more companies?
There is an unlimited number of challenges. Look, you hear about this in the news all the time, and it's true, right? So for a while there, supplies, supply chain was a problem, getting materials, whatever business it was, our inventory, it was hard to acquire. And obviously, shortly thereafter, it was inflation. So the cost of the inventory was a huge problem. And we are in a lot of businesses where we sell to customers. Our companies will sell their product to customers at one fixed price. But by the time we actually bought the material to go in, it had increased in price and squeezed our margins. So we dealt with that for a while.
Yeah.
Labor is also one that you hear a lot about. So that's ongoing. But then there's a lot of other problems, right? We use bank debt for some of our acquisitions. So the cost of bank debt has gone up a lot. The availability of it has gone up. Consumers are tightening their pockets. So, revenue is a challenge for some direct consumer businesses. There's a lot of problems out there, but, that's the job to figure that out.
Gotcha. So how do you find most of the companies that you're acquiring?
Oh, that's my secret sauce. I can't tell you that.
Okay.
I'm kidding. We have historically used brokers. There's a community of business brokers out there that it's their job to represent small companies when they need to sell. So we have great relationships with brokers around the country that we typically go through to find and buy small companies. And then once we're in an industry like fencing or, another one of the businesses that we're trying to be an active acquirer of, we start going direct to owners. We, pick up the phone, we send emails, we send letters, and try to start relationships direct with company owners that want to sell.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit about the business, and Asentiv, it is about the amazing business or businesses. It's also about the spectacular life. So when you're not working, what do you like to do for fun?
We are having fun with young kids right now. So my wife, who is also from the area, grew up here. We've got a lot of family. So we see a lot of family in town. We have 3 kids. One is very young. She's 3 months.
Oh, wow. Brand new baby.
Yeah, we're in the thick of it for sure.
So you have a 3-month-old, and then how old are the other 2?
I've got a 3-month-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
So that is a lot of youngins.
Yeah. So that's it. A lot of time in the pool, a lot of time in the backyard, a lot of time on the boat. And whenever I can, I try and sneak out to play some golf.
How many times a week are you lucky enough to sneak to the golf course?
Yeah, more like once a month if I'm lucky. Yeah. That's a tall task. 5 hours away from the office or home. Doesn't happen often.
So what's your kind of vision for the next 5 years for your business?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. So we have the businesses that I'm active in. We really are trying to grow those businesses to become no longer small companies. We want them to be bigger companies. And, depending on our goals for each one, we would like to think, 10, 30, 50 million of value or revenue is kind of a good target for us. And then, I've spent a lot of time recently helping other people buy small companies. This is a huge trend around the country. You might have heard of it as entrepreneurship through acquisition, ETA, or small and medium-sized business, SMB. It's this kind of silver tsunami of small companies that need to transition from the baby boom generation ownership to a new ownership. And so we actually spend a fair bit of time teaching others want to be entrepreneurs how to go ahead and become an entrepreneur by buying a small company.
What do you feel is kind of that sweet spot for the small company or people that are just getting into it?
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about this, but long story short, it needs to be able to be acquired with an SBA loan. That's kind of like the rule of thumb. And the SBA is a complicated program that the government uses to back small company loans, but it's a beautiful product that anybody can use to change their life and to have a huge wealth event in their life. So what that really means is any size business that you can buy for 2 to 7 or 8 million bucks, that's a perfect little sweet spot. And that's what we teach.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So any tips for people? You said you got to work that SBA. So any tips if people are out there watching thinking, okay, I want my business to be acquired. What advice would you have for them to make sure it's done before they call you to buy them?
It's a great question. They never think about it enough. Hey, look, it's all about the numbers at the end of the day, right? Because the owners want to know about the numbers. The bank wants to know about the numbers. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what industry you're in, what product you're selling, what service you're selling. You need to have clean books. because it's the first thing everybody looks to. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying a business or you're trying to sell your business. Try to get familiar with accounting and finance. Hire a bookkeeper, hire a CPA, get your books in order, and that'll make the process night and day easier. Trust me.
And I would think that that's good for both the buyer and the seller, because it's very easy to see what's there. And then the SBA can make their decision on if they're going to loan you the money or not.
Exactly. Dirty books kill too many deals. Let's put it that way.
And what do you mean by dirty? Because I don't think you necessarily mean like that they cook the books kind of things, but what do you mean by dirty?
No, I don't mean cook the books, because look, if somebody's committing fraud,
that's a whole different conversation.
It's a whole different conversation. What I'm talking about is a lot of small businesses. The owner kind of treats their business books kind of like their personal piggy bank, right? So they'll be paying for their 2 cars through the business, and 8 cell phones and 3 vacations a year, and their dog is on the payroll. And then, when a buyer goes to look at those financials, they say, okay, you're doing 5 million of revenue. That's really great. It's a good small business, but you're making no profit. Where is all the profit? And then the owner has to say, well, if I didn't pay my dog through the business, the vacations, the cell phones, well, then I would have made great profit. Well, stop doing that for a little bit and get your books to be clean, so that somebody like me, when they look at it, they don't have to wade through all the personal baloney that's in the P&L.
That makes total sense. I get it. And I've had some businesses, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not looking to make profit for this. We're not ever going to sell it. It just is kind of, so I could see how people could not think about the impact that would have when they're going to sell it.
Exactly. There's an old saying, right? Run your business as if you were going to sell it. That's kind of what I mean.
I could totally see that. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this, you own the business, you may want to take a look at some of those expenses that you are putting as expenses in the business. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So
exactly.
Probably you need to have a good accountant, a good bookkeeper to help make sure you're on track.
Exactly.
So anything that you have coming up new and exciting in the next little bit? What's coming new to your world?
Well, more of the same. Right now it's working, right? So we're going to keep trying to acquire small companies around the southeastern U.S. We really like fencing businesses, so we're spending a lot of time there. And we teach a boot camp for want-to-be entrepreneurs to hopefully come through and learn how they can quit their corporate job and buy a small company with an SBA loan and really change their life. So we have a boot camp we run for that. And maybe play a little golf, and that's about it. Same old.
So do me a favor, tell us where we can go to find out more, whether it's the business, whether it's the boot camp, where can we learn more? And I'll put this, y'all, in the show notes below.
Cool. Well, everything I try to write about, content sharing, mostly it's done through Twitter, believe it or not. So just at Sam_Rosati. And in my profile, I've got a link to a lot of the content that I put online, whether it's other podcasts or things I write or businesses that we've started to help people or the boot camp. So you can find everything there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sam. Y'all check out the description below to get his information, reach out, see where he might be able to help you as you leverage your time and maybe acquire ETA, entrepreneur through acquisition. I think that's the first time I've heard that. So I'm excited about that new thing.
Cool.
Thanks everybody.
Tiffanie. Appreciate it.
Happy networking, y'all.